Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Absolute Resonance Part 23 based on novel. So let's start. Boom. Boom. Within the wreckage, faint sounds of thunder boomed out. Some distance away, the other school students were watching Shi Huang throw his full strength time and again, constantly forcing Li Luo back. If this continued, Li Luo would be eliminated before too long. They shook their heads. Although Li Luo's growth had been ferocious, he was just that bit of oomph short of taking on someone as strong as Shi Huang. A pity. Ding! Another brutal clang of sword and spear, and Li Luo was again sent flying, crashing straight into a broken building. Shi Huang's spear was upright as he stared into the wreckage, cutting a striking figure as electricity leaped and danced across his skin. Li Luo, trying to play a stamina game? I don't think you're quite there yet, he said, a hint of contempt in his voice. If you want to keep some pride, hurry up and surrender. Inside the building, the light was dim. Li Luo was leaning against a wall, and he laughed to himself when he heard Shi Huang's voice. Tough indeed, he mumbled. Seems like I was a little naive. I thought I could keep this in reserve, but it seems like I need some firepower after all. With an arrested expression, he grasped his two swords and hit them together, hilts first. Both hilts were engraved with snarling beasts, and now their fangs connected. With a light twist, they clicked into place. At the same time, the curves of his blades began to deepen. It looked like a big bow made from his swords. A silver blue bow. Li Luo pressed a finger at a spot on the blade, and a small hole appeared, silver string springing out. Li Luo twirled it out gently to string his bow. This was the special resonant artifact he had custom made. Usually in the mode of twin swords, others did not know that it had another form, a big bow that Li Luo had dubbed the Dew-light bow. He curled his hand tightly around the hilt grip. He did not want to reveal his hidden ace just yet, but clearly if he kept his head down any longer, it would be chopped off. He looked up at the figure of Shi Huang outside, lips curled in a cold smile. Outside, Shi Huang seemed to have sensed that something was wrong. Frowning, he transformed his spear into a silver bolt that flew into the building. Boom! He was rewarded with a boom of resonant power. Someone leaped out, landing gently on a vine-covered rock. Li Luo. Shi Huang clenched his fist, and his spear was called back. He was slightly worried, especially about the silver blue bow in his opponent's hands. Both inside and outside White Spirit Mountain, there was puzzlement. What was he intending to do? What damn trick are you up to this time? Shi Huang asked indifferently. Li Luo did not reply, instead choosing to take a deep breath and drawing his bow. His resonant power formed a faint arrow of light on the strings. Both arrowhead and shaft were glowing, formed by his light resonance. Only Li Luo himself knew that the light resonance structure was full of holes and gaps, which he then filled in with water resonance power, creating a synergy between them. It was as if water was being carried forth by light, at an indescribable speed. If water could reach such speeds, who would dare to call water resonance soft and weak? Li Luo could feel the resonant power fading from his body, but there was a smile on his face. This resonance art was based on a high-grade water resonance art called river flow art and another high-grade light resonance art called flowing light art. After numerous failures, Li Luo managed to express his dual resonant nature and successfully crafted this art. This arrow, he called it the Dew-light Sky Stream Arrow. This was Li Luo's strongest attack now, and his final trump card. Shi Huang had been very composed this whole time, sure that there was nothing Li Luo could do. But when the arrow of light appeared on Li Luo's silver blue bow, his face changed. He could feel a strange prickling sensation, as though he was facing an incredibly strong opponent. Impossible. He's just an eighth seal. How can he pose a threat? Shi Huang's eyes were wide. He had the voltaic plating. He did not even fear Xia Kingdom at full strength. What was a mere Li Luo? What was that arrow of light? Could it be a Duke stage resonance art? But an eighth seal could not possibly activate such a resonance art. But if it wasn't a Duke stage resonance art, How much damage could it do? Xia Huang started to back off. Facing Li Luo's unknown attack, he did not charge recklessly, but instead chose to retreat. He believed that this was Li Luo's final attack. As long as he could evade it, Li Luo would be at his mercy. Li Luo looked calmly at the quickly retreating Xia Huang. Lightning was fast, but could it be faster than light itself? His bow now pulled to a full crescent. Li Luo released his hooked fingers. Twang! A light humming rang out. A bolt of light shot forth at a speed that confounded the eye. Boom! His hair standing on end, Xia Huang shouted, "Lightning steps!" Electricity crackled to life at his feet, and he reached his maximum speed. Useless. He could only watch as the light shaft sped into his vision, and a wall between them suddenly opened up with a hole. Evening sun filtered through it. Sensing the danger he was in, Xia Huang called forth his resonant power and hurled his spear forth in the form of an electric dragon. Ting! A crystal-clear sound. Eyes wide, Xia Huang watched as his lightning-charged spear shattered. The light arrow continued on its path, punching through Xia Huang's extended left palm and leaving a clean hole. His voltaic plating did not manage to hold up for even a breath before it was penetrated. A scream of pain. Xia Huang's left shoulder was gushing with blood, and he fell to the ground, heavily wounded. Slumping against a broken wall, blood bubbled out from his mouth. And all around White Spirit Mountain, silence fell. At the foot of White Spirit Mountain, the light arrow had stunned the entire crowd into silence. They stared at the screen agog, fear and disbelief plain on their faces. What had they just seen? The undisputedly dominant Xia Huang had been shot down by a bow that Li Luo had pulled out of God knows where. It was like a dream. Cai Wei and Yang Lingqing's rosy lips were parted in surprise as well. They closed their eyes, then opened them again. The screen was still the same. Xia Huang had been shot down. What's happening? Cai Wei asked a little blankly. An instant ago, she was worrying about Li Luo's elimination, and now Xia Huang was the one squawking on the ground. It was too much for Cai Wei's ample chest to take. Yang Lingqing bit her lip. I think Li Luo has beaten Xia Huang. Cai Wei slowly leaned back on her chair, a small smile spreading across her lovely features. From now on, who will dare to call the young lord a mere mascot? Although only for a month, Cai Wei had been looking after Li Luo, and she was quite fond of him. She treated him like her own brother. And as the overseer of House Loulan's affairs in the Jiangsu province, Cai Wei knew very well how much Li Luo had struggled with his cultivation. Besides his endless capacity for spirit liquids and purifying lights, Cai Wei found the young lord very likable despite his shenanigans. She was filled with joy and relief at his miraculous win. From now on, those within House Loulan would not disdain him anymore. Yang Lingqing nodded. Li Luo's performance today was sensational. He must have been hiding it before. The young lord is so different from his parents, Yang Lingqing remarked. Those two had dominated their entire generation in the Xia Kingdom. They were stellar, whereas Li Luo was much more restrained. Those that did not know better might even think that Jiang Qing'e was more like their child, and perhaps Li Luo was adopted. The issue with the blank palaces affected the young lord greatly. Even after he solved it, he opted to stay out of the spotlight. He keeps his secrets up his sleeve, it makes him feel safe. He grows quietly, with less frivolity, Cai Wei observed. I think that if not for Song Yunfeng and Xia Huang forcing his hand, the young lord would probably have settled for a peaceful top 10, Yang Lingqing said wryly. It was entirely possible, given Li Luo's personality. His goal was to enter the Astral Sage College. First or not, he didn't care. I don't think it's a bad thing though, Cai Wei said with a gentle smile. Yang Lingqing rolled her eyes at her. You too soft on him. But he's so handsome. Cai Wei smiled. Ha ha ha. As the two women were enjoying a quiet moment of happy relief, the old dean in the main pavilion was laughing uproariously. He shook the entire tent with his laughter until even those outside were looking over. Oh my, truly the son of Li Taixian and Tan Tai Lan. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His face was flushed with energy, all traces of fatigue and worry gone. He slapped the table hard. "See that?" he demanded of Governor Xia. "The power of my South Wind Academy." Governor Xia seemed preoccupied with his tea, although the eyes reflected on the surface of the cup were furious. A completely unexpected turn of events. Li Luo had been on the verge of losing. And then a miraculous arrow. All these years of planning, shot down by one arrow. Governor Xia tried his best to suppress his rage. And failed. "Can you be quiet? Quiet, you old plank." The dean's temper matched his. "You shriveled up onion, you think you've the right to decide when I talk." Governor Xia's face was terrible to behold. His terrifying resonant power began to radiate from his body, a large, green python rearing and hissing. A lower 7th grade green python resonance. "Oh, you want to fight? Come on, then, I've had enough too," the old dean said with a humorless laugh. His own crimson resonant power flared up, a flaming beast with its hooves in magma. Lower 7th grade, the fire-eating ape. These two Heavenly Dipper general experts readied themselves. Even though the room was made of stone, it began to crack under the mighty surges of energy. Mentor Anli shouted out to them urgently, "Gentlemen, we're in the middle of the examinations. If you cause a fuss here, the Astral Sage College might just reduce the number of entrance slots to the whole Jiangsu province next year." These words brought the bickering pair up short. The dean sniffed, retracting his resonant power. With a dark face, Governor Xia did likewise. Mentor Anli shook his head, turning back to the screen. Xia Huang's left arm had been skewered by the arrow, left heavily wounded. He would be severely compromised in battle. It was more or less wrapped up. Albeit wrapped up in a way that no one had predicted. Word has always been that the young lord of House Loulan was useless. It seems that they were false whispers. In the ruins, Xia Huang was still moaning on the ground, blood spurting from his arm. He could sense many pairs of eyes watching, intimidated now by his downfall. They were dismayed by this outcome too. Not far away was Song Yunfeng, still dangling from the spear pin to the wall. He was stammering to himself, "Impossible. Impossible." He could not believe that Li Luo had beaten Xia Huang. This was completely illogical. Xia Huang was a 9th seal with an upper 7th grade lightning resonance. He was a beast in battle, and Lu Qing'e was the only one in the Jiangsu province who could pose a threat to him. But now Li Luo had shot him down. Song Yunfeng felt bitterness rise within. If not for Xia Huang's status, he would have screamed abuse at him and accused him of rigging the fight. He had not experienced it for himself, so he could not fathom why a simple arrow had undone Xia Huang so easily. Still, his understanding did not affect reality one way or another. Li Luo was standing on the vine-covered stone, looking at the bleeding Xia Huang with a neutral expression. He did not move, seemingly luxuriating in Xia Huang's predicament. He even sprawled in a sitting position, one hand on the bow, the other hanging loose. He looked like a demon king, and the other students watching from the shadows were petrified. They did not dare to make a sound, for fear of attracting Li Luo's attention. They all held their breath. After a few minutes, someone flew in. It was Lu Qing'e speeding over. She was holding a rope in one hand, towing 3 people who were tied up. Xiong Liang, Song Fu, Kai Su. Evidently, she had beaten them. The first thing she saw was Song Yunfeng nailed to the wall. Surprised, she continued on past the ruined hamlet, then her footsteps slowed. Before her, there was a pool of blood, within which Xia Huang lay. He looked barely conscious, pale as a ghost. Lu Qing'e was truly astonished. Behind her, her 3 captives were even more shocked. She looked up to Li Luo, his face composed. She shuddered at the power he commanded. She approached him now, feeling as though they were back in their first year, when Li Luo was a giant. "Are you all right?" she asked softly. Li Luo looked down at her and then the tension whooshed out of his body, as though a heavy burden had been lifted from him. "You're finally here. Quick, help me get down. I've run out of resonant power, I'm afraid of jumping down." What if I hurt myself? Lu Qing'e stared at him. It was both exasperating and hilarious. He had posed up there for so long only because he had run out of resonant power. Li Luo was on a particularly tall stone pillar, and there were plenty of jagged rocks below. His arrow had taken up all of his strength. Given how many people were watching him, if he jumped down helplessly, they would pounce on his weakness. He was worth too many points to pass up on. And so Li Luo had casually sprawled on top, his air of casual confidence holding them back. Lu Qing'e leaped up beside him with a waft of perfume. She stretched out a small hand to him. Gloves on? Li Luo checked. Yes, they were. Otherwise, they might both be screwed. Lu Qing'e shot him a look. She cut an impressive figure herself, a heroine straight out of a tale. She took hold of Li Luo's hand, then leaped down from the stone pillar. With both feet firmly on the ground again, Li Luo felt much better. He looked over at the three captives. Slaughter these three too. They looked at him with trepidation, even more so than when they regarded Lu Qing'e. After all, it was a nightmarish scene that lay before them. It was Zhong Fu who sighed and said, I said before that you, Li Luo, might well be the greatest unknown factor in these examinations. Guess I was right. Xiong Liang and Kai Su were silent. They had scoffed at Zhong Fu's prediction, and never once had they taken Li Luo seriously as a threat. But now they could see that Zhong Fu's prudence was well-founded. If they had planned more carefully and saw his strength properly, they might not be in as bad a state as they currently were. Li Luo waved it off. He went to drag Song Yunfeng down from the wall, throwing him beside Shi Huang. At the same time, he charitably helped Shi Huang stop the bleeding, so he would not die from blood loss. That would be a troublesome ending. Shi Huang opened his eyes weakly. Li Luo, you hid it well, he said resentfully. Li Luo grinned and then feigned a tortured expression. Ah, why must you force me so? I just wanted to be in the top 10. Why did you all force me to go this far? Behind him, Zhong Fu and the others swallowed. This was a little too much. Indeed, Shi Huang was so worked up that he was quaking. He retched another mouthful of blood. Hey, don't be so anxious, you're going to vomit blood. Li Luo hurriedly calmed him down, then used his crystal medallion to check the scoreboard. He saw that there were only 13 people left, no, 12 now. There were 12. Phew, all's good. I almost missed it. He smiled with relief. Know what I'm going to do next? Li Luo said, beaming at Shi Huang and Song Yunfeng. There was something chilling about his smile. I said that I would ensure you two were eliminated from the top 10. Shi Huang's face was pale now, and his fear showed. Li Luo, you're cruel. Being eliminated from the top 10 would mean a loss of entrance slots. He might not even be able to go to the Astral Sage College. That would be absolutely devastating to Shi Huang. Beside him, Song Yunfeng was yelling as well. Li Luo, you can't do this. You'll incur the wrath of the entire Song family and the governor's house. Childish. Li Luo shook his head and said peaceably, when you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. It's time for you to pay. He took down their crystal medallions, clearing out Shi Huang's points immediately. He erased Song Yunfeng's points as well, although students from the same school could not obtain each other's points. Shi Huang and Song Yunfeng's scores were reduced to 0. Li Luo clapped loudly. A big hand for Shi Huang and Song Yunfeng for their achievement of 11th and 12th place. Their faces were ugly to behold. Xiong Liang and the others were quaking in their boots. This Li Luo was a real terror. Lu Qing'e was looking at Li Luo quietly. For some reason, she felt a tinge of fondness grow in her at seeing him like this. Li Luo had been too unobtrusive for the past few years, an unremarkable, harmless thing. But Lu Qing'e liked to see him in the spotlight, like how he was back when they first entered Southwind Academy. He had scolded her unreservedly while teaching her resonance arts. The exams should enter the countdown to the end now, she said happily. Li Luo turned to the other three with a frown. You three got off easy. Since he could only eliminate 2 from the top 10, he had chosen Shi Huang and Song Yunfeng, who were higher up on the hate list. Which meant that these three were in the top 10. Even if their points were cleared out, they would simply be at the bottom of the top 10. Hearing this, the three broke into ingratiating smiles. "Brother Luo, we were forced. The higher-ups in our schools directed us to do what we did. We took so many resources from our schools, we had to obey. But don't worry, once we get into the Astral Sage College, you'll be our leader. Your wish, our command." Li Luo ignored them, turning to Lu Qing'e. "Clear their points. It irritates me." Lu Qing'e smiled slightly. "No?" Li Luo started, unsure of how to react. From the side, Zhong Fu helpfully reminded him, "Brother Luo, she means that if she takes our points, she will overtake you and steal first place in the exams." Xiong Liang and Kai Su's eyes widened, looking between the two. Lu Qing'e had defeated them, so naturally their points belonged to her. She could take first place, fair and square, but she had purposely chosen to place behind Li Luo. What was going on between these two? What was their relationship? Even Zhong Fu looked at Li Luo in admiration. He was so cool. He was already engaged to a godly beauty like Jiang Qing'e, and he could still play around? Hearing Zhong Fu's reminder, Li Luo belatedly realized that by clearing out Shi Huang's points, he was in first place. He panicked now. "Qing'e, quickly now. I have a bit of a first-placeophobia, you know. You'll get used to it." A wide smile filled Lu Qing'e's face. "Lu Qing'e!" Li Luo cried. "Don't do this. How did I wrong you? Why must you hurt me so? Quick, please, I don't want to be first. I'm begging you. Please." Lu Qing'e sat down on the gravel. The setting sun bathed her in rosy golds and reds, and she propped her chin on her slim hands, smiling happily at the fuming Li Luo, still wringing his hands. And then a gong echoed across White Spirit Mountain. Within White Spirit ruins, the survivors heaved sighs of relief, filled with a wild joy. But not Li Luo, who was looking glum at the ending gong. Unfortunately, he was in first place. When the final bell rang, there was a congratulatory mood among the audience as they processed the results. Clearly written, first place. Li Luo, South Wind Academy. This win was beyond everyone's expectations. Back when the exam had first started, no one thought that it wouldn't be the hot favorite, Lu Qing'e, or perhaps the only threat she faced, Shi Huang. Definitely not the under-the-radar, no results to speak of Li Luo. The young lord of House Loulan was no stranger to the people of the Jiangsu province. After all, House Loulan had begun at the city of Southwind before expanding to the Xia Kingdom. They were once the pride and joy of the Jiangsu province, their bragging fodder to outsiders. And as the son of those two, Li Luo could not help but receive attention. But when his blank palaces came to light, everyone sighed inwardly. Li Taixian and Tan Tailan had burned so brightly all their lives, but their son had inherited none of their talent. Like a tiger giving birth to a puppy. Li Luo had heard such remarks all too many over the years. Some had even said that perhaps Jiang Qing'e was the true child of Li Taixian and Tan Tailan, and that Li Luo must have been adopted or something. The nasty remarks went on. And with today's result, their impression of the young lord was renewed. Although this youth might not have the sharp, invincible air of Jiang Qing'e, he was warm and enigmatic. It seemed like he would only know what cards he had to play when crunch time came. A different look from his parents, and even Jiang Qing'e. Outside, the South Wind Academy teacher Xu Shanyu looked up at the board, frozen in a thrall. Finally, he broke out of it. "You see that? Li Luo's first." Beside him, Lin Feng's expression was complicated. He did not know if he should be happy or sad. Although South Wind Academy had maintained their best school title, the glory had not gone to his first school. It was with the second school, whom he had poured scorn on. Although Li Luo had shown some promise during the last few weeks, Lin Feng had dismissed it. His read was that no amount of catching up from Li Luo would bring him to Lu Qing'e or Song Yunfen's level. After all, he had lost so much time. But now the winner of the entire exam was Li Luo. He turned to look at Xu Shanyu, features twisted in wild triumph. He felt a strong squeeze of regret grip his chest. He regretted not letting Li Luo back into the first school when he had shown signs of a comeback. And now that Li Luo was champion, Lin Feng would be regarded strangely from now on. After all, South Wind Academy had never had a champion that wasn't from the first school before. He, Lin Feng, would be spurned, while Xu Shanyu would be glorified forever. So although South Wind Academy had managed to defend its title as best school, Lin Feng felt a sudden urge to wail. Xu Shanyu had just gotten his emotions under control when he suddenly noticed the expression on Lin Feng's face, bitter as though he had been forced to eat out of the toilet. He shook his head in sympathy, at the same time feeling gratitude. "Teacher Lin Feng, you're a real brother. I won't argue with you next time." Lin Feng gave a smile as though he had been eating lemons whole. His voice wheezed out of him faintly. He, we're all brothers, same house, too kind." Cai Wei and Yang Lingqing stared at the first place name for a long time and then exploded with joy. "What a surprise!" Cai Wei rejoiced. "Fufu, Li Luo sure plays it quiet. If word of this gets to Qing'e, she'll be completely astounded." Yang Lingqing nodded approvingly. If the young lord can get into the Astral Sage College, his prestige in House Loulan will rise as well. Perhaps he will take some of the burden away from Qing'e, Cai Wei mused. Yang Lingqing nodded. Although House Loulan was plagued by problems both internal and external, there would always be those loyal to the king, namely Li Luo. After all, he was the bloodkin of the two house lords, and his right to rule was the most substantiated, even more so than Jiang Qing'e. However, his blank palace conundrum had cast a dim pallor on his future. Some had given up on him, but if he continued to perform well, he would be able to unite them again. At that time, he should be able to firmly take the House Lord seat with Jiang Qing'e's support. At that time, House Loulan would finally return to stability. Both women were very much looking forward to that day. In the main tent, Governor Xia was completely silent when the result was declared, but the thunderous aura radiating from him scared everyone off. The old dean didn't care. He was on his feet, clapping as hard as he could. "Well done, my lad. Truly the son of Li Taixien and Tan Tailan. Everyone looked down on you, even this old myopic geezer," he roared. Governor Xia gave a short bark of laughter. Without a word of farewell to the dean or Anli, he rose and left. Mentor Anli shrugged and turned to the dean. "Congratulations, Dean Wei Shou. South Wind Academy has clinched the best school title again." On the scoreboard, Li Luo and Lu Qing'e were in first and second place. This was South Wind Academy's best result in recent years, and the full 21 entrance slots would be swept up by South Wind Academy. One could only imagine how many families would go through fire and brimstone to send their children to Southwind in the near future. Even if those children could not win slots themselves, the sheer power of the school's reputation might see them into the Astral Sage College. Dean Wei Shou could not stop grinning. While all this was going on, the students within the arena were starting to exit as well. The cheers were especially loud when Li Luo and Lu Qing'e appeared. This was a real bother for Li Luo, who had been thrust into the spotlight. His handsome looks were already troublesome enough, and now adding strength into the mix. That was way more pressure than a young man could handle. "Brother Luo, you were so cool!" Zhao Kui yelled ecstatically. He might have been eliminated from the top 10, but given Li Luo and Lu Qing'e's result, there was a slot in the Astral Sage College with his name on it, considering his rank in South Wind Academy. The other South Wind Academy students were all smiles too, looking at Li Luo respectfully. Those additional entrance slots had been won for them, almost all of them, thanks to him. There was a Chinese saying that went, "When one ascends to heaven, even his chickens and dogs rise with him." Li Luo shared a big smile with Zhao Kui, clapping him on the back. He turned to search for Yu Lang in the crowd. He found him fervently clasping the hand of a particularly cute junior, his face serious. "Do you know why Li Luo could beat Shi Huang? It was all thanks to my painstaking efforts to unsettle Shi Huang. That's why Li Luo won. Half the credit is mine, But being such a great brother, I don't begrudge him the glory. I'm not that kind of guy. The naive little girl stared at him with adoration. Rascal. Li Luo was speechless at the guy. His brain ran on a different wavelength from others. Lu Qing'e, who had been talking to a bunch of junior girls, turned to him with a faint smile. They say that today is a great day, and there will be celebrations tonight. They ask if you're attending. Li Luo sighed. These gatherings didn't mean much one way or another. Everyone would come fawn over him, and the girl fan club would try to make moves on him. Today, they would be more ferocious. Therefore, he nodded in assent in the end. A cool night breeze blew through the city of Southwind. It did nothing to cool the heated celebrations going on within, as the crowd started to shuffle out of White Spirit Mountain in an outpouring of excitement. Li Luo and the others decided to celebrate at the Tower Qingfeng. The Tower Qingfeng was built along the Qingfeng River, hence its name. It was a beautiful location, and also the tallest restaurant in the city of Southwind. This gathering was wholly sponsored by the rich lady, Lu Qing'e. She had booked the entire Tower Qingfeng and invited many young men and women to join in the celebration. Li Luo was sitting with Lu Qing'e, and they had indulged in a couple of drinks. Her rosy blush was especially clear on her snowy skin. Under the warm lights, she captured the hearts of all present. One student came to offer a toast. Brother Luo is truly awesome. You and Sister Qing were the perfect duo, getting first and second. You'll be a legend in Southwind Academy. Li Luo glared at the guy. It was the sort of stuff you could only say here at the city of Southwind. If it were Xia City, it would be a completely different story. Beside him, Lu Qing'e twinkled a smile, touching glasses with the student. Damn Song Yunfeng, that traitorous vulture. He's from Southwind Academy, but he helped other schools attack Sister Qing. Scumbag. Some drunken students were beginning to get rowdy. These curses drew calls of support from the others. After all, this was a classic betrayal, which was hard to stomach. Differ Qing came looking for Lu Qing'e with her cup, guilt written on her face. Qing'e, I'm really sorry about what happened. If I hadn't left the marks, you would not have been ambushed. Lu Qing'e shook her head with a small smile and touched cups with her. It was a consolatory gesture, but Li Luo acutely sensed some stiffness in her gaze. Evidently, there was now a black mark next to Differ Qing's name in Lu Qing'e's book. Perhaps in her heart, she had already labeled Differ Qing as someone not worth associating with. After all, whether on purpose or accidental, such a blunder was not one that Lu Qing'e approved of. Making friends with fools would cause one trouble again and again, and they would bring out the pitiful, innocent face afterwards. Li Luo, I was biased against you before. I hope you don't hold it against me. I didn't have foresight. Your performance today marks you well worthy of Sister Jiang, she said to Li Luo in a small voice. Li Luo waved it off with a smile, but he did not comment further. Perhaps sensing the coldness from Lu Qing'e, Differ Qing took the hint and left. Li Luo looked at Lu Qing'e, seeing a hard look on her face after Differ Qing's apology. What's wrong? He asked, puzzled. Nothing much. Just thinking that fools make me angry, Lu Qing'e said emotionlessly. Li Luo was quite confused by this answer, but it was best not to guess the minds of young girls. He changed the topic. Although Song Yunfeng got eliminated outside of the top 10, doesn't it mean he gets a slot too? In the preliminaries, Song Yunfeng had ranked second. If placements were given out according to that, Song Yunfeng was guaranteed a place. Logically, yes. Lu Qing'e thought about it. But our dean is known to be a stingy man with a stingy heart. Song Yunfeng tried to take money from both sides. He almost cost Southwind Academy the best school title. I don't think he'll let Song Yunfeng have his way. Li Luo nodded. That made him feel better. It would leave a bitter taste in his mouth if he had slogged his butt off just to help Song Yunfeng enter the Astral Sage College. Now the old dean's pettiness looked like an especially endearing trait. While Li Luo and Lu Qing'e were heartily celebrating, there was a table higher up in the Tower Qingfeng, where some people were looking down at them with their amused looks. Among them was a girl in a yellow shirt. Her features were lovely, although her perfectly arched brows were on the thin side, giving her a mean look. She listened emotionlessly to the curses about Song Yunfeng drifting up from below, some anger flashing across her eyes. Her name was Song Qiuyu, and she was Song Yunfeng's sister. She is a student in the Astral Sage College. She had just arrived in the city of Southwind today and was already greeted by some unwelcome news. To think the champion in the Qianshu province's exams would be that trash young lord. Two young men were sitting on either side of Song Qiuyu, and the one who had spoken was a short-haired man in green, toying with his wine cup. Jingming, his trash no longer. If he can become the champion, he must be quite competent, Song Qiuyu said. The one she called Jingming was Differ Jingming, Differ Qing's elder brother. Still, the Qianshu province as a whole is weak. I hear that other stronger provinces had 10th seal fighters during their final exams, the other young man pointed out casually. Mo Ling, we know your Beiqiu province has an abundance of talent. It ranks well in the top 10 provinces, doesn't it? The Qianshu province is only average, so stop comparing us, Song Qiuyu said peevishly. Mo Ling was from a house in the Beiqiu province that was blooming with talent as well. Plus, the Beiqiu province was far larger and had far more talent compared to the Qianshu province, so it was understandable that he looked at them with a slight sense of superiority. The youth called Mo Ling chuckled. I meant no offense. No one would dare to underestimate the Qianshu province after they produced Jiang Qing'e. Mo Ling had feelings for Song Qiuyu. He had accompanied her back to the Qianshu province on the pretext of protecting a beautiful lady. They were all students at the Astral Sage College. Mo Ling could tell that Song Qiuyu was not happy about the gathering of juniors below. He gave a slanted smile. I guess those peeps below could be considered our juniors next time we see them. Shall we go say hi? He had already risen to his feet. Forget it. They are inconsequential, Song Qiuyu said. Mo Ling waved her off. As their future senior, I feel it is necessary to familiarize them with the character of the Astral Sage College. He headed down. Song Qiuyu smiled, but she called out after him with a hint of impatience. Don't overdo it. Don't scare them. Differ Jingming downed his cup in one gulp. The night is long. Some entertainment sounds good. Neither were worried about Mo Ling. After all, he was at the second Resonant Master stage, Pattern Genesis tier. The students celebrating below, who were not even 10th seals, were like newly hatched baby chicks compared to him. Precisely how big was the difference between the 10 seals stage and the Resonant Master stage? They were about to be given a thrilling lesson on that just before entering the Astral Sage College. This video will end here.